I almost let go. I felt like I just couldn't take life anymore. My problems had me bound, depression weighed me down, but God held me close.
Yes, He did.
So I wouldn't let go. God's mercy kept me, so I wouldn't let go. So I'm here today because God kept me. I'm alive today only because of His grace. Oh, He kept me. God kept me, yeah. He kept me, so I wouldn't let go. Is that anybody else's testimony in the room today? I know we got some graduates in here that says, I'm only here today because God kept me. It was by His grace, it was by His mercy that I'm in the room on today. I lost some friends along the way, I buried some loved ones along the way, but I'm here today because God kept me. To the class of 2025, graduates of Miller-Motte College, Macon, I'm proud of you. And I'm excited for your future. Give yourselves a hand. Thank you for the opportunity to encourage you on tonight. First, I'd like to say thank you to the Board of Directors, to your Director of Education, Dr. Owashala, affectionately known as Dr. O, all the administration, faculty, and staff. I want to start with a poem called Start Over by Woodrow Crow. When you've trusted God and walked His way, when you felt His hand lead you day by day, but your steps now take you another way, start over. When you've made your plans and they've gone awry, when you've tried and tried your best and there's no more try, when you failed yourself and you don't know why, start over. When you told your friends what you planned to do, when you trusted them and they didn't come through, and you're all alone and it's up to you, start over. When you failed your kids and they're grown and gone, when you've done your best but it's turned out wrong, and now your grandkids come along, start over. When you prayed to God so you'll know His will, when you prayed and you don't know still, when you want to stop because you've had your fill, start over. When you think you're finished and want to quit, when you bottomed out in life's deepest pit, when you've tried and tried to get out of it, start over. When the year has been long and success is few, when December comes and you're feeling blue, God gives a January just for you. Start over. Starting over means victories won. Starting over means a race well run. Starting over means God's will be done. Don't just sit there. Start over. When they first asked me to speak, I immediately thought of this poem. It's simple but profound, and one that perfectly fits this moment in your lives. Because the truth is, many of you will leave here today expecting a smooth transition into your next season. Many of you are confident that everything is going to fall into place. And many of you, well, you're sitting there thinking, I have no idea what I'm gonna do next. I get it, I was once where you are. I returned to college to provide a better life for my children. I was a single mom, healing from domestic violence. I was morbidly obese, depressed, and unsure of what the future held. But I graduated with honors. And thanks to job placement, I secured a position at the Board of Education. I thought I had found my lane. Administrative work, planning, facilitating, meetings, it was stable, and it felt like success. What I didn't realize was I would go on to serve over 15 years in human resources, not only in public schools, but also at the collegiate level. I didn't realize that the people I met along the way would coach me toward home ownership and to being a better parent. I didn't realize that the skills I learned in college and in my career would one day empower me to become a full-time entrepreneur. And I surely didn't realize that I have to start over and reinvent myself for every new season of my life. On the night I graduated, I thought I had it all figured out. But life taught me something greater. I had to master the art of starting over. And listen, starting over doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean walking away from your education or abandoning your dreams. Starting over means you take everything you've gained and you build something even better. Starting over means continuing to learn, because education won't end when you walk across this stage tonight. Starting over means expanding your potential so your growth benefits everybody connected to you. Starting over means increasing your capacity so that you're not just present in the room, but you're powerful in the room. Even if nobody else in the room looks like you, start over. But here's what I want you to carry with you today. No matter what your plan is and no matter what happens next, it's always okay to start over. We're going to look at three perspectives. What do you do when your degree is in one field but you fall in love with something else? What do you do when life begins to unravel and you feel lost? And what do you do when things are going well but you begin to feel stuck? What do you do when your degree is in one field and you fall in love with another? I'm going to tell you a story about my first supervisor in payroll and human resources. She spent 4 years pursuing her dream of becoming a teacher. It was her lifelong dream and it was her passion, until she entered her last semester of student teaching and realized there's no way I can stay in that classroom with them kids all day for the next 30 years. What did she do? She didn't abandon her love for education. She simply found a new way to serve. She transitioned into the school systems administration and eventually became the finance director of the entire district. She found her true passion in numbers, planning, and strategy. She started over. I want you to know that seeds are never wasted. Every class, every internship, every experience, whether it's good, confusing, or disappointing, it all has a purpose. Something good will grow when you find your soil and allow yourself to grow in it. Number two, what do you do when life begins to unravel and you feel lost? Well, this one is personal. Since graduating college, y'all, that was in the 90s. I've faced deep valleys. I've endured sickness in my body, buried loved ones, felt the sting of heartbreak and betrayal. But every day I had to wake up and make a decision to choose me. Let me be clear, choosing you doesn't mean you're selfish. It means you understand that you can't pour into others from an empty cup. Choosing to start fresh each day means you might not know how it'll all get done, but you trust that God will see you through. It means letting go of needing to have all the answers and giving yourself permission to want more, serve more, be more. There were seasons where I had to start over in my career, taking a pay cut because I had a blended family with 7 children, and certain jobs didn't work for our family schedule. There was a time when my husband and I saved up 6 months of expenses so I could start my first business full time. That same month that I resigned and we rented a facility in downtown, his job started layoffs. Within 3 months, our savings was gone. We had to close the business and I went back to work. I even said, we'll try again, babe, when the kids out the house. That way, if we gotta survive on noodles, we don't have to involve our children. I also had to start over in my health. At 5'3", 319 pounds, I had 4 surgeries in 1 year. My doctor told me plainly, you won't get better until you lose this weight. I changed my diet, began to do what my doctors told me to do, made time for exercise. I had to say no to things that were no longer helping me heal and no longer serving me. I lost over 100 pounds. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it because I'm worth it. Why are these stories relevant to you? Because you'll do great things in the face of adversity if you're willing to start over. Success doesn't come come without setbacks. Adversity will build your strength. It's not a loss when it's a lesson. Every time I had to start over, I carried the lessons from the last season with me, and I was better because of it. You're not sitting here in your cap and gown because life was easy. You're here because even through the tears, you tried again. You're here because you believed in yourself, even when others didn't. You're here because you pushed through and you finished strong. My favorite book says, God will prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. I want you to whisper something to your neighbor, graduates. No enemies, no table. He'll prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies. So no enemies, no table. Yes, you did it in their face, and guess what? You'll keep winning because your success depends on you. Repeat after me, I can start over. Number 3, the last thing, what do when things are going well, but you're overwhelmed, you're stressed? Maybe you feel like, I did this, but there has to be more. I've been teaching from a book called The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. It tells the story of a young man named Ordinary from a town called Familiar who received a big dream from the Dream Giver. I'm gonna slow down. The young man's name is Ordinary. Say Ordinary. Ordinary. He comes from a town called Familiar. Say Familiar. Familiar. And his dream was given to him by the Dream Giver. Say Dream Giver. Now, to achieve his dream, Ordinary had to leave Familiar and trust the Dream Giver. Along the way, he encountered hardship, anxiety, loneliness, and many moments where he simply wanted to quit, but he kept moving forward. Eventually, he reached his big dream, only to realize it wasn't complete. What he saw in his dream was the completed work. His dream had to be built. His dream required hard work. So Ordinary went to work, constructing what he saw in his vision. He looked around and things were great. He had built his dream. And just when he got settled in, the Dream Giver called him and said, it's time for you now to go to your next dream. Yes, there'll be times in your life when you're living your dream and God will call you to something greater. You're called to start over. And when that happens, don't be afraid, because you will leave the place that you're in better than it was when you found it. And you will also be better than when you first started. You'll be stronger, you'll be wiser, and you'll be ready to build again. Don't allow the success of living your dream turn it into a familiar place and trap you into settling. Don't let comfort cause you to become stagnant. Say it with me again, I can start over. So when the Dream Giver nudges you to go back for another degree, it's okay to start over. To return to school as a mentor or a leader, it's okay to start over. To step into a new field, it's okay to start over. To write a book, to start a business, to serve in a different capacity, it's okay to start over. I hope you will say yes when God steps in and you have to start over. I thought, what song could I close with that ties those words together so you'll always remember it's okay to start over and say yes. It's simple. It says, I'll say yes, Lord, yes, to your will